guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be discussing physics and sexism, interestingly enough. But before we get into it, I'm wearing a pair of pants that I think I just need to show you because it goes so against my usual style that I feel like I'm an 80s ski mom who needs a wine cooler. So without further ado, look at these fucking pants, man. They're so obnoxious. Like, even when I move, listen to this. So now that we've discussed my trousers, we can get into the topic at hand. This article is titled CERN Scientist Alessandro Strumia Suspended After Comments. So what did he do of so terrible? Let us find out. So a senior scientist who said physics was invented and built by men has been suspended with immediate effect from working with the European Nuclear Research Center, CERN. Well, color me fucking shocked. I would have never guessed that a man saying that men did something good once in history was gonna get kicked out. Professor Alessandro Strumia of Pisa University made the comments during a presentation organized by the group. He said in comments first reported by the BBC's Palab Ghosh that physics was becoming sexist against men. CERN said on Monday it was suspending Professor Strumia pending an investigation. It stated that his presentation was quote-unquote unacceptable. CERN always strives to carry out its scientific mission in a peaceful and inclusive environment, the statement reads, calling the presentation contrary to the CERN Code of Conduct. You know, if there was one place where I thought that we could maintain logic and reasoning, it would be a scientific place where in most sciences and in a lot of math, it's very black and white. You're right or you're wrong.
Is math related to science?
So surely a physicist would have proof and wouldn't just throw around these comments, right? So the organization said it was unfortunate the views of the scientist who works at a collaborating university risks overshadowing the important message and achievements of the event. Professor Strumia, who works at CERN, was speaking of a workshop in Geneva on gender and high-energy physics. He told his audience of young, predominantly female scientists that his results proved that physics is not sexist against women. However, the truth does not matter because it is a part of a political bottle coming from outside. I could not agree more. I feel like truth is becoming this thing that people might not even acknowledge anymore. And I just don't understand why you would stray from something that is proven and you'd get angry about it and kick someone out. Like, you can have your emotions, but is it really necessary to go to this point? So he produced a series of graphs, which I'll show here, which he claimed showed women were hired over men whose research was cited more by other scientists in their publications, which is an indication of higher quality. He also presented data that he claimed showed that male and female researchers were equally cited at the start of their careers, but men scored progressively better as their careers progressed. Now, is it possible that this man is misogynistic? It's possible. Does this demonstrate that he is misogynistic? No. So I can't really say, oh, this guy is clearly a woman hater, because he has data that is substantiating his claims. So while he might be a terrible person, who knows, this cannot be the basis for kicking someone out. When the BBC contacted him, he said, people say that physics is sexist, physics is racist. I made simple checks and discovered that it wasn't, that it was becoming sexist against men, and said so. Last month, Professor Jocelyn Bell-Burnell told the BBC she believed that unconscious bias against women prevented them from getting jobs in physics research. And a major study published in 2012 in the US scientific journal PNAS showed that science faculty members rated identical job applications more highly when presented to them with a male name rather than a female name. CERN, which currently has its first ever woman director general, said in an earlier statement that the organizers were not aware of the content of the talk prior to the workshop. A CERN spokesman confirmed that there was a video recording of the presentation. Senior managers would decide whether to release part or all of it, it said. So at the end of the article, it says, in 2015, Nobel laureate Professor Tim Hunt resigned from his position at University College London after telling an audience of young female scientists at a conference in South Korea that the trouble with girls in labs was that when you criticize them, they cry. So it's interesting that they brought up Tim Hunt, because when we compare him to Strumia, what Tim Hunt said was completely inappropriate, saying that women are gonna cry when you criticize them. Like, I don't need to go into why that's inappropriate, but there's a vast difference between making a claim like that is not only insulting but unsubstantiated. But if you have proof and you've gathered data, I don't see what the problem is. If it's so untrue, prove it. Also, shouldn't people be happy that more women are getting hired? Isn't that kind of the narrative? Isn't that kind of appeasing your narrative of oppression? I'm confused, because you want women to stop being oppressed and get hired, but then when they're proved to be getting hired more, instead of being happy about it or being like, yay, women aren't oppressed anymore, you're also mad. So I don't know. Do you want to keep your oppression card? Is that the point? Like, I'm just so confused as to the narrative because it's so contradictory. And when I talk about the narrative, I'm talking about the SJW narrative. So I'm just wondering how this fits into it. If you have any insights, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. But genuinely, at the end of the day, is it worth this professor like having their career ruined or having to leave because they have data that proves that there are more women in the industry now? I don't really see what the problem is. I don't know why he can't show his data like anyone else. But again, obviously, anytime it touches on a political topic, people just need to lose their minds and just be very emotional rather than logical, which is honestly quite damaging. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always. I'd love to hear your comments, opinions, thoughts, everything down in the comment section. I'll catch you guys next time.